so you guys have had some practice doing variables and solving for different letters and weird symbols, but how does that actually look when you're writing the answer? Today we're going to practice just a few of them. It shouldn't take us too long. So we're solving for the variable. That's what we're doing right now. I'm going to write that up here so you don't forget. We're solving for the variable. So in any equation that has a variable, you need to solve for it. If our equation is something simple like, let's start with the number one. We'll label them so that you can follow along. We're on the first one. If we did 3 times y equals 6. This is one that you can do your guess and check with. You can figure out what 3 times y equals 6. So, solve it. One group of 3 does not equal 6. What if I had 2 groups of 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That equals 6. How many groups are there? 2. So I know that this equation is really saying 3 times 2 equals 6. Which is great. That's what you need to know. But the way we solve for the variable is we say y equals 2. Because y represents that 2. That 2 is represented by y. Back and forth, it works both ways. So y equals 2, because y is 2 in this variable, is how this would be written. If I do another one, and I'm going to do it right under it so you guys can see. If I do another problem, I'm going to use y again, because this is where it gets tricky sometimes. What if I did 4 times y equals 20? Y in this problem is a whole brand new problem. Y does not still equal 2. It doesn't. Y cannot be 2 in this problem because 4 2 times equals 8. So y is no longer 2. Y is standing in the place for something else. Which is why each time you do an equation, you need to solve for the variable. The variable doesn't stay the same even if the actual letter is like y and y. Yeah, it's the same letter, but it does not represent the same thing. It can't. That's not how it works. So let's see. Let's do 4 one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 times. 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 times. 13, 14, 15, 16. 5 times. 17, 18, 19, 20. How many times? 5 times. So our equation is really 4 times 5 equals 20. Or, not or, but we solve for y and we find out that y is equal to 5. Even though the same variable was used in both of them, it didn't represent the same thing. Because each math problem is its own story. It's its own problem, it's its own entity. It is not repeated. The variables do not carry over, even if the same letter or symbol is used. It does not always equal the same thing. So that's something really important to remember. On both of these, I put the multiplication dot, correct? You guys can see that? On some problems, and I know we've already had some like this, you don't have a dot. So we're going to do our third problem here. And it just says like 4x equals 16. Have you guys seen problems like this? If you've been doing the work with me, you should have. This happens sometimes. You guys, this means the same exact thing as this. It still means 4 times x equals 16. It's just a different way of writing it. Mathematicians mathematicians think they're so fancy, they think they can make up anything they want, and we just have to go along with it. Well, they're right, they can. They can do whatever they want, and we have to go along with it because we're not mathematicians. So if you hate this, become a mathematician and change it someday, okay? But we still solve for x regardless. So 4 times what equals 16? Well, we actually already did our 4, so let's do them again real quick. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. How many groups got me to 16? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups got me to 16, which means my x is equal to 4, right? Because that would make this whole equation 4 times 4 equals 16. Except for Miss Farmer's going to change this x out because she was being silly, and it should be a dot to represent multiplication, right? We don't want the x there because then we'll get confused again. Having it written right next to the number is the same as having it with the dot in the middle. It's the same type of thing. On some of our work, I saw friends doing this. There was a big word problem, okay? And it was like, Miss Farmer had 16 markers, but her sister only had 4 markers. How many times more markers did Miss Farmer have than her sister? So if Miss Farmer had 16 markers, so that's Miss Farmer, and we got sister got 4 markers for sister, and it wants to know the unknown is how many times? These are the same numbers as in this equation, guys. A lot of you answered me like this. You have all the right numbers, but totally in the wrong order, all right? You guys said 16x equals 4 if x equals 4. Well, we found out that x equaled 4 over here. But this equation, if I did the actual math here, I would be doing 16 4 times. Okay? 16 times 4 does not equal 4. That's not right. 16 times 4 equals 64. If you don't think I'm right, do the math. 16 4 times is 64. So this is not the right equation. This cannot work. No. X does equal 4 in this scenario, but it needs to be 4x equals 16. Because 4 times 4 equals 16. 16 times 4 does not equal 4. Make sure you guys are having your numbers in the right order and where they belong. When you're doing multiplication, it's just like doing addition. You can't have a bigger number equal a smaller number. You can't have 16 multiplied by anything to equal 4. That doesn't work. You can have 4 multiplied by something to equal 16. Your biggest number has to be your answer every time, guys. If not, your answer is going to be way bigger. So this is solving for the variable, making sure that you actually write the variable equals on its own line. You're going to need to do this in today's quiz and today's practice. If you have questions or you're confused about any of this, please just let me know. We can go on a Zoom, we can meet about it, we can talk about it. Alright? See you guys later. Bye.